There's a misnomer in the world that, man, for a lot of competitive people, drivers are like, hey, if I enjoy myself right now, I'm gonna lose all my drive. Before we start, how many of you have your own business or an entrepreneur? I just want to get a show of hands to see. Awesome. I'm going to go right down that direction tonight. I want to remind you of something. You are one decision away from changing your life, and you have to accept that. You're one new meeting, one new relationship, one new contact, one new action, one new decision away from shifting your life from where it is right now to a totally different place. So what's the decision? You already know. I could go backstage now. There's something you've been hesitating on. There's a contact you need to make, isn't there? There's a job you need to quit. There's a relationship you need to engage in. Maybe there's a relationship you need to leave. I don't know what it is, but I know there's a decision that you need to make to take you to the next level. Just like I know that's true for me, because decisions shape our destiny when they're backed up by some massive ass action, okay? But you can't take the action if you don't decide. Everyone say yes. People avoid being desperate. Think of the fact they come here tonight and they're down. They're not where they want to be financially. Their relationships aren't what they want. Maybe they're in a desperate place, and you might think that's a negative thing.
Watch this. If you're feeling stuck, add Mylett's motivational speech. You're not the only one who's experiencing feelings of being stuck or a lack of desire. Every single person struggles with a lack of motivation at some moment or another. Some of us have to deal with it daily, while others are fortunate enough to simply have issues with it on occasion. But you can get out of that rut if you figure out why you're feeling that way in the first place, and then take steps to improve your mental, physical, and emotional well-being by adjusting your lifestyle. Asking yourself about the bigger picture and what you actually want is one of the most crucial things you can do to get out of your unmotivated rut. A strong motivating factor is having a good, strong purpose for what you're doing. Perhaps you have a financial justification. You might desire to write a script that will lead to incredible professional prospects. Maybe you want to create a world-changing app. Your motivation could be as straightforward as wanting to support your family. If you struggle to devise a personal justification, consider those who depend on you. Maybe other team members, a subordinate who looks up to you for professional leadership, or just a significant client. Starting is one of the simplest strategies to overcome a lack of motivation. Make a timeline for when you will act, because getting started is frequently the most difficult element of moving forward. This is a great way to motivate oneself to just start. This is a method to get oneself to act, because most people are trained to keep their appointments. Plan your project for the most productive times of the day, or set up time blocks if you prefer. Working during those times gives you the best opportunity to ignite motivation and effectively complete tasks, because each of us is more awake, energetic, and productive at different times.
But when you're in a desperate place, you take the best actions. Desperation is a great place to be. Those of you that are achieving, one of the reasons the achievement is slowed down is you've allowed yourself to feel less desperate. When you were broke and starting your business, or when you were brand new in your relationship and you were desperate to get her to love you, you woke up tomorrow morning and your baby wasn't in their bed, would you be desperate right away, yes or no? Big time desperation. You wouldn't be thinking about what you need to do. You'd be acting, wouldn't you? You'd immediately make the decision. You'd take massive action. You'd search the house. You'd go into the street. Would you worry if your makeup was on right? How you looked? What people thought about you? You wouldn't, would you? Have to have the perfect plan to go find your baby that's missing. You wouldn't need any of that because you were desperate. So when you remove desperation, all this bullshit creeps into your life where you think you have to have the perfect plan and look the perfect way and have the perfect thoughts and be all zen and perfect. What you need is to be desperate. What you need is to get after it. And I want you to get desperate to make that decision. Why? Because our obsessions become our possessions. What you obsess about most regularly, you will eventually possess in your life. The challenge for most people, sisters and brothers, is that we obsess on the things we're fearful of, what we don't have, what we're worried about. And then we end up possessing those things over and over again, rather than programming ourselves what our dreams are, what we believe we deserve. When we become obsessed about those things, long term, we end up possessing those things. Can I get an amen for that? Yes? Yeah, most of us don't replace the external parts of our lives naturally without thought. The external results of our life, in order to replace ourselves with the next best version, requires intention, requires obsession, requires desperation. Everyone with me on that, say yes. So it's not unnatural to change. Your friends that think you're crazy to have started your business or come to a seminar or spend money you don't have, they're the crazy ones. It's unnatural to be the same person you are right now next year. For all of you in here, the 35-year-old you should be gone next year forever, and there should be a brand new, better 36-year-old. You 20-year-olds, there should be a better 21-year-old next year. You should constantly be replacing yourself, just like your bones do, just like your lungs do, just like your cells do. It's natural to be replacing ourselves.